Hello crafters, I'm Jan B and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this freestanding calendar. I've got this fitted on the back so that it will stand up like that. I thought this would make a pleasant change from having magnets on the back, because I know a lot of people nowadays don't actually have anywhere to put things with magnets on them, with kitchens that are largely integrated. So I thought that might make a little bit of a change. The first one that I made is this, and I really love this, except I wished I hadn't put that on there. I think that really does spoil it now that I've seen one without. So the one I'm going to make today, it will be without that bit there. Okay, so let me show you how to do it. I will stand that one there. To start off with, the cardstock you're going to need. The base is actually a bit of the cardboard that comes at the back of our packs of designer series paper. I've just cut a piece of that, and this measures 6.5 inches by 4.5 inches, which is 16.5 by 11.4 centimetres. And then a piece of designer series paper, and I can't remember for the life of me which one this came from. Oh, it's under the Mistletoe. And this measures 8.5 inches by 6.5 inches, which is 21.5 by 16.5 centimetres. And then you need a piece of old Olive Cardstock, which measures 6.25 inches by 4.25 inches, which is 15.9 by 10.8 centimetres. And then you need a layer for the calendar. Now that obviously depends on the size of your calendar, but if you get these from somebody on eBay called Cake Factory, I will put the details in the box below. I can give you the product number of this, and you go on eBay, just enter the product number and it'll take you straight to Cake Factory. And she does do international, well, I say she, could be a he, but Cake Factory does do international, so wherever you are, you're fine. So assuming you've got the same as me, this should measure 2 inches by 3 inches, because this is 1 7/8 by 2 7/8, but whatever your size is, add on 1/8 of an inch on both sides. And then you need a piece of old olive. It's a bit tatty, isn't it? Not sure what happened there. Not that it matters. 2.5 inches by 4 inches, which is 6.2 by 10.2 centimetres. In fact, I didn't give you centimetres on that one, did I? If you're the same as me, 2 inches by 3 inches, that's 5 by 7.5 centimetres. And then for the sentiment, that one, that's about 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches, which is 6.2 by 6.2. If I got that back to front, haven't I? And then you need another piece which is 2 inches by 2 inches, which is 5 by 5 centimetres, and a piece of real red which measures 2 inches by 2 inches, which is 5 by 5 centimetres, scraps of Whisper White, that's just for these little flowers here. And then for the support, this is also from the back of the DSP. The grey one that I've used here is normally from something like the foil sheets or maybe the Glimmer sheets, and this is more the regular designer series paper. So I told you wrong there. That's more like the Glimmer sheets or foil sheets, but that's designer series paper. And this one, you need it to measure 3 inches by 6 inches, which is 7.5 by 15 centimetres. So we'll start with that first, and our sheet of designer series paper. And what I do with this is, although I wouldn't normally recommend using snail for doing something like this, this is going to have extra, the final bit of it is going to be adhered with Tombow, so this is just like a holding place for it really. Okay, so I just do 3 across and 2 down, and then with the correct size facing down, and I will 1, 2, 3, that's right. Okay, so I know what I've done is I've lined this up on my grid paper. Can you see it? Yep, you can. So that's dark line is what I'm working from, so that's 8 inches. So I know this is 6, so 3 inches that side, 3 inches that side. So I know that that is the centre. So I'm just going to place this what I think to be the centre. So I've got a gap more or less the same all round. You've got to be joking. That one's quite a lot bigger than that. So never mind, doesn't matter. The important bit is what you do now. And what you need to do is you need to cut across there, one straight line. But the important, really, really important thing is don't take your scissors too close to that corner there. Try and leave yourself about 1/8 of an inch. Otherwise, if you go too close to that corner, when you fold these bits in, you're going to have a piece of the chipboard exposed. Okay, so I'm just going to do straight across. See if you can see how much I've left there. Okay, about 1/8 of an inch, I'd say. So whatever that is anyway. And then do that to all 4 corners. Okay, so that's rubbish. Now I'm going to use my bone folder just to give a little bit of a score down the edge of the chipboard. So the score line is going onto the designer series paper, and that side. This just makes it that much easier to fold these sheets over. Now what I'm going to use, again, snail, make it nice and easy. Just do 2 lines. Again, this is all going to be covered up with something using Tombow. So this is just holding. So what we're going to do first is bring this over, and because you've scored it, it will come over much, much easier than if you had not. And bring that over. And if you've left enough gap when you cut your corners off, you won't see any of the chipboard there. As you fold this over, it will all be covered. You won't see any chipboard anywhere, which is basically what you want. Okay, so that's the back. That's going to be our front. Now to cover this up, we're going to use this. Okay, so you've only got a tiny, tiny little bit visible all the way round. So now you do Tombow, so this does stay really, really well, and it's going to hold everything else down. So first of all, make sure all the edges are done, and then in the centre. Obviously, if you don't want to do the freestanding part, you can just add magnets on. Right, so that's like that. So just use the bone folder to make sure that that is adhering down really, really well. Okay, now I'm not going to do the self-supporting bit until I finish decorating the front, otherwise it's going to be a bit difficult to push that down. So first of all, I'm going to do this bit. I'm going to put my calendar onto here. Now when I'm using Tombow for this, I always put Tombow over the stitched bit. I feel that it just helps to keep the calendar from falling apart during the 12 months that you're tearing sheets off. And I have to say, I've never ever had an issue. So tweezers. Okay, use the little ones until the, oh, there's the big ones. Now you'll have just 1/8 of an inch visible all round. There we go. Make sure that's nicely adhered. So that's going to be a die cut. Those two are going to be die cuts. And this is stamping. And this is stamping. So the stamp set and the dies that I'm using, floral frames, and that's a sentiment that I'm using. That flower and that flower. I'm thinking, I wonder if they would fit into my circle. These are no, smaller than it might do. Always telling myself, don't change my mind in the middle of a video. Shall I change my mind in the middle of a video? Why not? This one's going to say, wishing you the best, whereas the other was sending you love. I'll clean that one later. Right, so let's do this one. And the ink I'm reusing is Real Red. Oops, where'd that come from? Wishing you the best. Just pop that in the centre. That's good. It's wonky, but that doesn't matter because it's going to be cut out with a circle. So that's that one. And now for the flowers, I need one each of these two. So my scrap will be more than big enough. But that's the best side for that one, isn't it? And this one, in fact, you can come down here. Don't want to be wasteful. So put those over there. Keep them right out of the way because it's red, and if I ever get in a mess with anything, it's red. Right, so I'll put that away. I'm going to bring my big shot up now. Where are my dies? Right, these are the dies that go with the floral frames stamp set that I showed you. So I'm going to be using this one, which does not match up with that. Okay, you may look at it and think, does it, doesn't it? But no, it doesn't. And I'm going to use these two as well, which are for the two lots of flowers. And I'm also going to be needing some circle dies. Now if I have a look on here, my layering circles, straight cuts, I need 3 and 5. So that's 3 and 5. Of course the two are together, aren't they? Odd numbers. And then I need one of the layering stitched, not layering, I need one of the stitched shapes circles. I think that was number 2, wasn't it? Yes. So I have number 2 there. Whoops. I thought I'd done that. I'll tidy those up in a minute. You don't really want to see me do it, do you? Right, so let's do the sentiment. So that's going to be using number 3 of the circles. If we take one of these out, it might, magnet might work a bit better, mightn't it? And the red one is the stitched shape framelit. Bit tight there, wasn't I, with the size that I've given you? And then the plain white one is that. And then the green is going to be this one. Do you know, I'm not sure that I meant to pick that one up, because that doesn't look as if it's the right size, does it? That's not big enough. Excuse me while I just get another piece of old olive. I thought that piece of paper looked a bit tatty. Right, let me just see what I can reach. Not quite sure what happened there. I'll just get my chair back in again. Right, that's better. Right, I'll come back to do that. Let's do these 3 first. Now I've got to use a large piece. So there's that one. That one. And the stitched shape frames. Take those out of the way, don't need those. Pop those up there. So first of all, let's do this one. Oh, it's got a funny edge to it as well. Right, I'm putting that through once and twice. I think it comes out perfectly okay after just the 2. Yes, it does. Okay. So that's that one done. Now let's just do these 2. I'll have to tilt this one just to make sure that I've got them spot on. That's fine. And that one's fine. Oh. Not quite sure what happened there, whether it just jumped or whether that was me. In fact, I think that's jumping. I know what I'm going to do. Separate these 2. Right, let's try that again. Thing is, one jumps, or at least if they both jump at the same time, you can't move your cardstock to follow both of them. Chances of them jumping in the same direction is highly unlikely. So it's better just to have them on separate pieces of paper, cardstock. Right, come on. No, you're still jumping, aren't you? I think that's okay. Right, don't move. Don't breathe. Don't move a hair. Right, what did we finish up with? Oh, that's good. Happy with that. Oh yes, happy with that as well. That one's rubbish. That's got a few flowers left in it. So we move the Big Shot out of the way. And we're going to adhere all of this together. I'm using Tombow. Yep. Do this one first. I think the only thing I use to put onto dimensionals on this project is when I do the flowers. Now that circle should fit in there so you've got a nice green edge all the way around. Oops, come back. And then this one will have a nice white edge all around it. Like that. And then this will have a nice red edge all around it. Right, remember that you're going to have this in a particular direction. So just make sure your sentiment is okay. In fact, I can see a couple of hairy bits on here. I didn't brush them off, did I? I do normally remember to do that. There we go, that's clean. Right. So here's the one I've just made. Here we go. So again, I'm going to line this up on my base down here. So the dark line, that's 6 1/4. I've got 2 1/4 inches either side. So that can go there. That can go there. Right, I think that looks about right. So let's do the calendar first. In fact, I can actually see from where I'm sitting, I can actually see the product number for these calendars. So if you've got a pencil and paper, I'll read it out for you. I will put the number in the box below as well. Right, the number is 2317 6534 2365. That number is permanently pegged up on the side over there because I get asked for it so many times. I wonder if Cake Factory know how much business they get because I do tutorials on YouTube. So I put some Tombow on all of the leaves so nothing is left to stick out anywhere. Now I'm really not worried about which way round this goes. I mean, when I'm putting this on, I don't mind which way these sides go. Okay, I'm not measuring now to find out halfway because I'm just making sure it looks good with this. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to put these on using some dimensionals. Whoops, no, I don't want the big ones. Just use the little ones. I have 1, 2, 3. Should we have 4? Yeah, why not? And on this one, I have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's go for it. Okay, so did I put the 3 at the bottom? Let's bring that back. This is a great idea for anybody who does craft shows. Right, so I'm going to do that. Of course, this is a bit different now because I've used a different sentiment. I wonder if that would go better at the top. Oh yes, I like that. I'll show you them both together so you can see if you think they look any better or not, top or bottom. I think it's that way, isn't it? Oh, that's much better like that. It's getting stuck. I need to clean my tweezers. Right, okay, so that's the calendar. Now we need to do the support at the back. So you've got your piece of cardstock and you need your scoreboard. Now this is one of those times when I'm really pleased I've got this red line down the 6-inch channel. So what I'm going to do is I can put that point in at number 6, and then I can bring this point down into my red line that I've started at number 6. I'm just going to score that down. Okay, that's all we need to do. And then fold that on your score line. A tip about this paper, this cardstock, it comes in sheets of 12 by 12 obviously because it's coming with your DSP, and what I do is I cut off the piece that goes on the back here, so that's 7 inches by 7¼ inches, so that's how I file these, and then I'm left with lots of other pieces. So what I do with them is I keep them all in here, and normally what I use them for is that sort of size. When I'm sending out a greeting card, if you can, oh well, okay, yeah, this one, and not really. Imagine that was like a rhinestone on there, then I would put that on top like that and then put that in the envelope, so that that's not going to get crushed. If they're rhinestones or pearls, then in the post they can actually tear your envelopes. But if you do that, then they arrive the other end pristine, no damage at all. So that's what I use those with. Okay, just a tip. And of course when I decide to do something like this, it's handy that I've got this. Now, to go near the top here, you've got to have a straight line, and this bottom has got to come almost along the bottom. So what I do, again, I position myself here, which I decided was 5 3/4 and 10 1/4. So that is the middle. And that was 3 inches, wasn't it? So that's got to be 1½ on that side, 1½ on that side, because the 8 is halfway. That's the dark line there. Okay, so I know that that is it. Now I'm not coming right down to the bottom. You see how much? Just about see it. Okay, yeah, that's better, you can see it. So what I'm going to do is make sure that's nice and straight. Take a pencil, and I'm going to draw a line where that is, a line where that side is, and one down the bottom here. Okay, so I know that it's got to go there and come down to the bottom here. So that's going to be my top. No, I've done that round the wrong way, haven't I? Let's fold that way, because I've done that side, and that side. Okay, so it's going to be like that because I've got to have the straight line up at the top. So let's do that correctly. I'm going to put Tombow and all the way down the diagonal. You could actually do a freestanding calendar like this, but also with magnets on it. I don't see why you couldn't do that, although this would stick out, wouldn't it? I'll have a look in a minute, see whether that would work or not. On second thoughts, I'm not sure it will do. You can have one or the other, but not two. And I'll show you why. Right, that's better. Straight line up at the top. Line it up with that pencil mark, that pencil mark. I'm not going to be able to remove these pencil marks, but that's fine. I can live with that. Okay, so give that a good rub. So that will be like that. And then it'll be freestanding. Look at that. Good old, well, I think that's great. I'm going to put some little pearls on here. Now that was something else. On the first one, I did big pearls. On the second one, I did little pearls. I thought the big ones were too big, and I thought the little ones weren't, the medium ones weren't big enough. So I'm going on to the big ones. And there's two on here. Oh, where did you come from? Oh, see, these things really do have a life of their own. And I think the reason I'm not too keen on the smaller ones is because they don't actually cover up all the red on the centre of the flowers, and I just feel that they should do. Okay, but I'll show you both, then you can decide for yourself which you like best. So there we go. So that one we've just made. This is the one with the smaller pearls. This is the other one that's got the bigger ones, but I spoilt it by putting that on there. I'm wondering if I could get that off actually. I might be able to. Right, the reason why I say that I don't think you could put, I mean you could put the magnets on there, but I'm not sure it would work because you've got this sticking out all the time. Okay. But shall I do this on screen? This is why sometimes I mess up, because I try these things and I think afterwards, why did I try that? But here we go. Look, I'm going to cut that one off. I'm turning at the back. I tucked it in under there. And cut that one off. Fortunately, I didn't stick it down. I thought I had, which is why I wasn't. Oh, I did put a tiny, tiny little bit of glue on there. So, the big unveiling, what does it look like? Oh, that's much nicer, isn't it? Oh yes, I'm really very, very pleased with that. So there we go, that's today's project. I hope you like it, and I really hope you give it a try. If you have any questions or any comments to make, please leave them in the box below. I'm always happy to help. In the box below, I will also put all the products that I've used. There'll be a link to my shop and all the measurements and anything else like that that you need. It'll all be in the box below. If you've enjoyed my video and you'd like to be noticed each time I upload a new one, which is normally Wednesdays and Sundays, please click on the subscribe button, and then there's a bell, I believe, that you have to click so that you get the notifications. And I thought there was going to be something else that I showed you, but I've forgotten, and I'm going to be cross with myself when I realise it. But there you go. The project is all done. I know somebody's shouting at me, Jan, please, please, but it's gone. Sorry. Anyway, many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.